Hello everyone. Just send me a hi or something so that I know that the broadcast has officially begun. And today we are going to be discussing the types of publishing as well as your how your why determines what type of publishing you pick. Okay, just one hi or hello or something of that sort so that I know that this is on the way and it's begun. That would be very, very helpful and I'd be very grateful. Thank you so much. Uh, okay, starting with the why, the priorities, right? So there are many reasons why people write books. I know that currently one of the best sources of earning passive income is writing a book. And a lot of people think that writing a book leading to passive income is hi Riddhi, thank you so much for your hi and appreciate the smiley. This one is for you. I just had a big old crying session, which is why I look like puffed up puff face, but yeah, apologies for that. Hello Shrikant, thank you so much for joining in. But let's come back to the why, the priorities. So you have your priorities, right? Say your priorities making money. So to make money by writing a book, publishing a low value KDP or a Kindle Direct Publishing book is the best way you can make passive income online by putting in low effort, right? For generating income for yourself using book writing, you don't need to go through like the arduous process of traditional publishing or hybrid publishing. Instead, you can simply just be honest with yourself that you're writing your book to make money, right? So that is what I mean when I say the why, the priorities of your book matter a lot. Because say you are an academic and the priority of your book is you are looking to make a name for yourself in your industry. Right now, to make names for yourself in academic intellectual niches, it is incredibly important to be published in like really highbrow places. So if you do have a book coming out, it would be better if your book comes out by one of the big five traditional publishers than like an indie publisher or self-publishing. So no, not at all. Right. So be very honest about what your priority and what your uh, publishing goals are to. Oh my God, we have a celebrity in our midst. Sampark, thank you so much for joining in. And yes, this is more of a technical gyan, to be honest, but it's important because then like people write the book and then they start the publishing process and they're so disheartened. And I'm like, ye adjusting of expectations आपको पहले से ही करना था, because if your why is very clear, a lot of things that happen afterwards also becomes very clear. Uh, oh my God, I'm going to butcher your name, Jantu Purkayasta. Oh, good gosh. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I messed up your name. Please send me a DM with like your correct name pronunciation and I'll learn. Thank you so much. With the technical gyan definitely is always welcome. I mean, I love technical stuff, but I know it's not a good format, because वो भी 3 बजे afternoon में लोग सो रहे हैं और यहाँ पे मैडम पाव 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 कर रही है. Anyway, so the why in terms of book writing is important for two things, as I said, in the previous post. First of all, the why helps you write a better book because if you know what your book is ideally supposed to do, right? Is it supposed to inform? Is it supposed to educate? Is it supposed to entertain? Or is it just written for your own personal satisfaction or whatever? That why will help you write the type of book that you want to write. Also, generating leads for my business or website is also a very uh, honest and a very practical why, right? We call these books as lead magnets. So if you want to write a lead magnet, you write a lead magnet, right? You don't need to like write a non-fiction book because lead magnets are supposed to be like amazingly copywritten, whereas non-fiction books are supposed to be written in like a very long form, in a very comprehensive contextual manner. Whereas with lead magnet, you have to make a promise, you have to quickly deliver it, which is what will get people to trust your business or to sign up to your website or whatever, right? So the why, be honest with yourself. Nobody other than you has to know why you are writing a book, okay? But be very, very honest with yourself about that why, and then start writing, because the why also anchors your writing style. Yes, lead magnets, nice. Yeah, I know, Riddhi, I know for a fact that you have probably seen a loads of this given the line of business that you are in. This is interesting. I'll tell you some lead magnet stories later on when we talk. But yes, coming back to the types of publishing, without further ado, let's start. I think we should start with traditional publishing because deep down, hum sabko Penguin, Random House, या Macmillan or something like this we want on our books. Right? Be honest, that is what all of us dream of. Even if we say that, I would rather self-publish because it is so convenient. If Penguin came to us, or if Macmillan came to us, or if Simon and Schuster came to us and they were like, "We will publish your book, no questions asked," you will jump like and yip like a hyena, because see, deep down, yes, that is the most desirable publishing format. Konnichiwa, Seiichiro-san. Maybe only one phrase for fiction content. I know, right? It's definitely it's not really fictional. It could be non-fictional, but Genji no Monogatari's writer's diary I'm reading right now, and it's been so interesting to see the way you can see her use hiragana and like very very basic hiragana and very basic kanji. It's a short book, but I don't know how I spent 3 hours reading it. It's beautiful. So yes, you're absolutely right. A good book is the biggest magnet ever, because there's no way human beings can say no to a good story. Okay. Sampark has a question. How do you crack one of these big publishers? Sampark, I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Let me just answer both of those, because there's a very mechanical process behind getting to traditional publishers, and the process exists for a reason. And why I think people like you can crack it so easily is because A, you have social proof validation galore. B, I think if you tell people to buy something, people will buy something. Okay, because the kind of value you have provided to your community over the years, that accumulates, right? And then when the time comes, the network is like, we are there to support you. So in book proposals, there is a part called marketability. And there, Sampark is going to shine bright like a diamond. So definitely, I'm going to get to that. There's like a process, and I'll share it entirely. Riddhi is all ears. I like the term. I've seen a lot of lead magnets, but did not know that they were called. Exactly. I assumed you knew them because I know you are in the biz. Rishit is back. Hello, Rishit. I'm going to reply to your DMs today, right? I saw there's replies. Apologies. I'm so late on everything. I was actually thinking about self-publishing, gain some new perspective. Yeah. See, if your priority is, I want my book out, self-publish immediately. Because traditional publishing takes anywhere between 6 months to 2 years for it to happen. Okay, so let's start with traditional publishing. Traditional publishing is when like the big names, right? They take all the risks. They put in all of the hard work after you have written the book into getting your book done, right? So first of all, they will develop your book, and the level of rewriting that will happen, it's an experience in and on itself, because you wrote your book as a writer. Now they are going to get you to rewrite your book as like an author, and there is a difference. Okay, like there is such a difference. The kind of professionalism that kind of just comes on your book, courtesy of bunch of like editors and bunch of graphic artists and bunch of developers working on your book. In traditional publishing houses, it's just so good. It's so good. So traditional publishing is when you get your book published the OG way, And Shrikant, I'll answer your question, okay? The reason is very, very simple. I'll get to that. So for traditional publishing, the ideal process is you are supposed to, first of all, write a book, write a good book, right? And traditional publishers, once upon a time, used to accept manuscripts. You can just go and submit your manuscript at their door and be done with it, right? In the print format. And this was a time when literature was just literature. It was not like this thing where you could become a billionaire of it, because even if merchandising and movie deals were to happen from books, the kind of dividends it would pay off was not that high, right? So publishing was more of a interest-based market rather than like a financial market. Now, though, it's different. Now, publishing has become highly practical in how it does its business. They have to, otherwise they won't survive, right? There's a reason so many big publishers had to sell, right? Because they are not breaking even by doing publishing the conventional ways. So Shrikant, to answer your question, why they don't accept manuscripts just like that, it's because of load. There is heavy publishing load on them. The technical word for this is slush pile. Okay, the manuscripts just keep collecting, and there's like a big old pile of unread manuscripts that just sit there because there's limited staff and there's limited time, and then also publishers have to take risk, right, of your book succeeding. So there's limited money also. And look, we have to be honest, not every book has selling potential, right? uh, Especially when we talk about niche specific books. There's a question. Nada. Hello, Nada. From good morning to you from Egypt, and good afternoon to you from India. Coming back to the process of traditional publishing, मैंने बहुत ही खींच लिया. अभी I'll tell you. The main process, the first thing you have to do is write your book. Okay. Then you have to write a book proposal. Book proposal has a template and it has a format. What I will do is, after this live wraps up, I will share a link in the comments of this live. It's a blog by Reed C. Reed C has given tips on how to frame a nice book proposal, and they have been kind enough to attach a template, right? So you can use that template to draft your book proposals. And what you have to do in drafting book proposals is you have to do elevator pitch of your book, elevator pitch of your chapters, elevator pitch of the theme of your book. So basically you have to be very salesy. You will be pitching your book to people who are professionally into book writing and book selling. And your book has to have like the perfect balance of tropes and cliches and market requirements, right? Say, for example, currently historical fiction is something people are falling head over heels in love with, right? And if you have a historical fiction, chances are you will probably have a publisher who is interested in at least reading your book proposal, okay? Because again, they also have to sell the book you write, okay? So you have to draft your book proposal in a very pitchy format, in a very pitch-based format. And alongside that, you have to do something called the querying process, Querying. Querying is when you basically do a cover letter and you send 3 chapters of your manuscript to a book agent, right? And they are the ones who will take your book to the traditional publishers. Because as I said, traditional publishers organically have that slush pile. It's not like they're not taking manuscripts. They just won't read them. To get a traditional publisher to read even 1 chapter of your manuscript, book agents are helpful because they have contacts within the publishing industry. So what they'll do is they'll know when XYZ publishing house has a requirement. Remember, like my recap family members would know, I knew that I'm not a book agent, by the way, but I knew that there's an indie publisher who has a requirement for non-fiction business related books. So I told you guys in the WhatsApp group that if anyone has something of this sort, contact me. And Pooja contacted me with her manuscript, Pooja Siram, and her book is going to come out soon. That's how it goes. So that is what book agents do for you. Book agents act as a bridge between you and the publishing house. They will ask you your priorities again, which is the place you want your book to be based on how much business you can ultimately end up doing for the agent also, the publisher also, and for yourself also. And then the publishing house, where the publisher uh, will be, let's say, compelled to read your book because of the professional relationship between the agent and the publisher. There's a great Indian book agent. He posts content on LinkedIn. So I'll link his profile too. I hope he doesn't mind. Ashish Chandy is the name if you want to look him up yourself. He is very honest in uh, posting like what books are trending in the quarters and things like that. So you know how, if you are strategically planning to write a book proposal and then pitch your book, you can take advice of this sort from book agents that are popular. So I'll give you book agenting advice right now. Two things. First of all, follow these book agents on Twitter, and follow them on any social media platform that you can find, because in moments of candor, when they are feeling like आज मैं content बनाऊंगा बनाऊंगी बनाते हैं, they might share something with you that they probably wouldn't, generally speaking, and that would be very very helpful for you in how you design your pitch. Because as I said, query letter, agent को भी query letter पढ़ने का है, and for the agent to read the query letter, even the query letter has to have like that level of pitching your book associated to it, right? So to make a list of book agents, this is what you can do. Best hack ever. One is you can go to querytracker.net, querytracker.net, and you will have like a massive list of book agents who have the bandwidth to take on more books listed there on Query Tracker. And then from there, you can check out those book agents' website. And on the book agents' websites, they would have very clearly mentioned, this is how you send me the manuscript, right? This is how you send me the manuscript. This font, this formatting, Word document, PDF, no watermark, yes watermark. Every book agent has their own priority, has their own preferences, and that is the easiest thing you can do. Follow instructions that are given by the book agent, and chances of them reading your query letter just improve. Okay, there are 3 comments. Let me check it out. If you publish depending on big publishers, it will be flattered, and although a continent can be created, there are few people who enjoy living there, pay and read it, and then that is all. Yes, you're absolutely right, Seichiro-san. So basically, traditional publishing, as I mentioned initially, it's good for you if you have patience, because the kind of time traditional publishing takes is brutal. But then the payoffs in terms of expertise, in terms of branding, in terms of using your book to project yourself as an expert, to get invited to talks, and to get people to actually be like, ooh, your book was published here. You know what I mean? That is sadly still a factor, which is why people still get insulted left, right, and center to get traditionally published. It is so humiliating, that process, I tell you, and it is so demoralizing. But ultimately, it's again, that's it, right? If you dreamed that my book will come out like this, and like I will have like that tag on me, there's nothing like you and I could say to convince people to try hybrid or self, right? uh, Yes, Sampark. I'll definitely share the LinkedIn and Twitter profile. And for now, you can check out Query Tracker. QueryTracker.net has international book agents too. And international book agents, I feel, are really amazing at pitching your book as a whole, right? So they'll also like take care of distribution globally. This is just a personal take on me from my side, but yeah. Yes. I'll definitely share the relevant links and all after the broadcast wraps up. Coming back to what we're talking about, you have the best way to prepare a list of book agents is look at the books in your target market, right? Say, for example, I'm currently working on or rewriting a work of fiction in sci-fi or science fiction, right? So I will have to look through other popular and recent sci-fi books, and I have to look through the acknowledgement section. In the acknowledgement sections, authors always thank their book agents and their publicists. Okay, these are two separate lists you can make. See the books that are performing really well in your target market. Check the acknowledgements for the name of the book agent, the name of the publicist. And that way you will have like a very tiny list of super successful people within your niche, right? So if you have like, you are going to have to send out 50, 60 query letters, right? To get 5, 6 yeses if you are lucky. So out of these 50, 60 query letters you send out, 5, 6 could be like these very successful people. If they say yes, you have a very big ally in your corner. So that is one easy way of getting like successful book agents ka names. Second easy way is, as I said, query tracker. Look at which book agent is free, and they have like a very candid format. So you can very easily get book agents from there. Then you will have a meeting with your book agent. Your book agent will get your priorities again. They will ask you your priorities, publishing priorities. They'll ask you very practical questions about your book, and then they will start pitching your book to publishing houses. It takes some time because publishing is backlogged a lot right now, not just due to the pandemic, also because influencer books and things like that cut in line, right? So all the time that was supposed to be spent in getting a book done properly traditionally is now being given to the influencer. It's understandable. Influencers make them the most money. So obviously they're going to prioritize them. So yeah, you'll have to spend some time on getting like responses. But once you get a yes, that is when you will get a publishing deadline. You will be assigned an editor. You'll be assigned a graphic artist. And all of that work begins, which is actually, like, in my opinion, which is what makes the traditional process so rewarding, because whether your book succeeds or not, you learn something about writing and editing during that process for sure. So that was it in terms of publishing. And then finally, the PR and marketing and all this will begin, where you'll have to show up every single place. They'll have podcasts, interviews, and book launches and this and that. Lots of things to be done on your end. But yes, your book will be out. It will be distributed well, and if it performs well initially, then the marketing and PR will be bumped up. If it doesn't really perform well, it will depend on what niche and what genre your book is in. And then you will have to try innovative marketing and sales techniques on your own, right, to push your own book from your own channels. So there's traditional publishing in its very basic format. And the reason why traditional publishing is about the book you write is because if you are not someone who comes with a so significant social currency, right? If you're not someone who doesn't have a lot of followers, or if you're not someone who is like a big expert within your industry, you will have to rely just on your book, because your marketing capability at that point is low, right? So the book you write, if the book you write is awesome, you will not really have much of a problem with it. How does the revenue distribution structure work in traditional publishing? Sampark, it depends, and this is why a lot of writers, to be honest, are self-publishing. Someone as big as Brandon Sanderson did a Kickstarter for his books because he was exhausted from like the weights, and the speed with which he writes books is crazy. And B, it's because of the royalty structure. Majority of the money made in public. So first things, if you have a good book, first things you get is you get a signing bonus. What signing bonus means is, say the publisher has given you 1 lakh as signing bonus. Uh, you have to make them back 1 lakh rupees in sales uh, once your book launches for the royalty structures to kick in, right? So technically speaking, the payoff is not that good if you are not selling thousands of books within the first week, right? Because a lot of your profits go in paying all of these individuals who have taken all of the risks so far. So your publisher will make back the book bonus from your profits. Your book agent will take their cut. Each agent has a different cut. The more popular the agent, the higher their cut, you know, same old, same old. And publishers are very stingy when it comes to giving royalties on books, which is, yeah, I won't be comfortable sharing the percentage, but anywhere between 12 to 15 to something of that sort. Not that high, to be honest, which is why hybrid publishing is on such a rise. Hybrid and even vanity publishing is on such a rise because people, if the priority of writing the book is making money, right? People are doing very basic maths. Yes, I will not have the branding for me, but I will have the money, right? And then maybe when I write my second book, I can use this money and use this branding to leverage a better deal with the publisher. But with writers who are new to the market and with writers who come in with uh, zero like social proof behind them, yeah, royalties are brutal in traditional publishing. Okay, so we were on uh, the end of the traditional publishing bit. So yeah, there's traditional publishing. However, let me just do a silver lining. If your book does work out, that's millions and billions, right? Because now books are being syndicated into TV shows and things like that. So a friend of mine who wrote a book, who got a book deal with a traditional publisher, and then she approached like a, a publishing house is the wrong word, a syndication house, let's call them that, who pitches books to OTT platforms. So her book is currently being pitched to her book series is being pitched to different OTT platforms simultaneous to her publishing journey, right? So traditional publishing also has a lot of money if you're very, very strategic about the way you you sell your book and you use your intellectual property, right? If you just rely on the publisher to do everything, there's not a lot of money for you in traditional publishing. You have to be extremely proactive for traditional publishing to like work for you in the best way possible. Then let's have self-publishing with an emphasis on self. So this is relatively new in that uh, because even Amazon has started doing some algorithmic shenanigans. People are like, you know what, I'm going to publish my book on my own, right? I am going to use a printer because, see, even big publishing houses are not printing books on their own. They have printers and they have distributors, different companies, different groups of people. So if you have a connect with some of these on Kindle Direct Publishing by Amazon, they list out like a group of printers that they use to publish their books, whether it is the self-published books or the vanity published books that you pick. But you can just get the contact information of these printers and distributors and like call them and be like, sir, can you help me? Or ma'am, can you help me? And if they say yes, you know, your printing and distribution is handled, and for a fraction of the cost or a fraction of the chunk of your publishing money that would ideally be spent by the traditional publisher, but in this case it is being spent by you, right? And if you come up with like a revenue share model, you won't even have to give like an upfront pay of sorts. Is hybrid publishing affecting the publishing industry? I don't really know, Shrikant, because I'm not working inside a traditional publishing house. But the fact that things like Barnes and Nobles also has a vanity press now, and even the other five on the down low, they are also doing this, where PR agencies do a tie-up with them, and then they sign on like these big names uh, who are totally not interested in writing the books. But like that's where ghostwriters like me come and play. Like that's, I don't know for a fact, but I can estimate that, or I can safely like guess that yes, I think hybrid publishing and self-publishing are affecting the traditional publishing industry, because of the kind of business decisions I'm seeing a lot of them take, courtesy of a lot of things that are happening in hybrid and self-publishing. How far is hybrid? As I said, Shrikant, I'm not inside one of these big publishing houses, right? So I don't know for a fact how much or how far it is affecting. But that is what, right? Barnes and Nobles is now printing on demand. Can you imagine? Barnes and Noble. That tells you all there is, right? Ki traditional ways say that business is not picking up the way that it was once upon a time, probably because hybrid and self-published books are eating into their market massively, right? So my guess is it is affecting the industry. It's affecting the traditional industry a lot. And KDP looks attractive. And see, young writers like Rishit, they're just trying to share their knowledge with the world, right? And traditional publishers are, I don't know why they are not open to young people in terms of nonfiction, right? They are not open to young nonfiction writers. I understand from their standpoint, but then expertise has now surpassed age in many genres, right? Say digital marketing, the kind of knowledge that like a 19, 20-year-old TikToker can give you about organic reach on platforms has value, right? There are a lot of people who want to succeed on TikTok that will buy a book written by some popular TikToker. I can like, but they are not really respecting those kind of books. KDP, on the other hand, respects these books a lot, and Amazon has two algorithms that run simultaneously, which ensure that a lot of these books show up in other people's also broughts. So organic marketing is happening easier on things like KDP, and if you do your book cover and blurb and all these things properly, you can get so many sales, and you can get like a lot of personal branding benefits from Kindle Direct Publishing also. And just an FYI, pen to publish is happening on Amazon India right now. Please check pen to publish out if you are a writer. It's got some financial grants, and then they also help you publish your book properly and things like that. So check out pen to publish, happening right now. Coming to self-publishing with an emphasis on self, as I was saying, you can directly approach these printers and distributors, right? Because contacts are now easily available online, because everyone has a website and everyone has done their business ka search engine optimization very well. So even if you do a basic search like book printers in Gujarat, a list will show up. So do something of that sort, and get your book printed, published, and distributed on your own. People are already doing this with ebooks from their websites, either with lead magnets, which tend to be free. Lead magnets are free, but some popular like internet gurus, they distribute their book not for free from their websites, right? So you can look into your country's tax code for this, and then you can monetize your website, right? It's not a lengthy process. It's very simple. And if your website is hosted on something like WordPress or Shopify, doing that is super easy, barely an inconvenience, as Ryan George would say. But yes, you can self-publish self completely on self. You can take all the risk and you can reap all the rewards, right? And how good your book is and how ingeniously you market it will determine how successful, it will determine how successful your book is in any publishing format, to be honest. Then we have self-publishing. Self-publishing is when you use platforms to sell your own book. Platforms like Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, or Gumroad, or Apple Books, Google Books, things of this sort. Uh, Kobo Books, because Kobo is very big in Canada and all of these places. So self-publishing is, instead of waiting for publishers to get back to you and things like that, you just take a deep breath and you're like, my book will go out within 7 days. And so you open one of these platforms, you upload your book, you select the trim size, you select the gutter size. This is the technicalities of the final print version of your book. Like, will your book have a spine that cracks, or does your book have a spine that does not crack? Will your book be on glossy paper, thin paper, thick paper, cardstock, whatever? You make all of these choices for yourself: 6 by 9, 11 by 6, 2 by 3, coffee table, blah, 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 blah. And then you click upload, and your book goes up. It gets processed in these platforms, and then the distribution process starts, right? And your book is live. You have a pre-order link. You can have lots of things happening for you. uh, if you, again, as I said, if you optimize your book properly, like Amazon by default gives you 3 categories. You can just call Amazon and be like, please also slate my book in these categories, and they will add more categories to your book. You can optimize the blurb, because now people are not, on Amazon at least, people are not looking for romance book. They will look for something specific. Boy meets girl in a club, and then they fall in love book, right? So that is what I mean: long tail keyword specific blurbs, uh, and a very attractive book cover, because yeah, people are vain. And when the small thing of your book shows up in an also bought list, it has to look like attractive to your reader's eye for them to go, ooh, let me read the blurb. So yeah, self-publishing is super easy, and royalties on self-publishing are very, very high, especially if you are just going ebook only. Because in India, at least, Amazon is not printing books right now. So you'll have to go via someone like Notion Press, which will cut into your profits. However, if it is an ebook only thing, you can put your book in Kindle Unlimited, where you will be paid just for the number of pages people are reading in your book, right? So, uh, self-publishing, yes, if you want to make passive income using book writing, self-publishing is the way to go. Don't even bother with the other options, because the other options will take too much time. And if you want to earn money, this is money. Like, my favorite examples here are two books. One is a book called E, where the author has written the alphabet E for over 100 pages. And that book has verified purchases and reviews, because people just found it funny on Reddit and 4chan. And they went and supported this author, and they bought their book, which just has the alphabet E. Similarly, there's another book which is completely blank. Like, there's nothing in the book. It's blank. The blank book. And people also bought that book, and then they reviewed it. This kind of stuff is only possible on self-publishing, where you can experiment. The thing that I was talking about, which is low value KDP, these generally tend to be coloring books, where you can go on Canva and you can use Canva elements and create like different drawing book types thing, and you can sell those for something like $50 or $60. And there are a lot of parents who will buy these books for their children, right? If the artwork that you have put in there seems kid friendly. So you will, even if the OG price is $50, it's zero effort from your side, because all you've done is you've used Canva, right? But that $50, if it sells 100 copies, brings you like something resembling a passive income. So self-publishing is good for you if you want your book to be distributed rapidly, and if you want to make passive income by writing. Okay, so remember what I said about the why. Be honest about your why. Now there's hybrid publishing. Now hybrid publishing is proving to be one of the best options right now because it has like the best of both worlds in terms of traditional and self-publishing. The biggest disadvantage of traditional publishing is you have to wait, and they don't really respond on time, and it's very frustrating. With hybrid publishers, because you are putting in a percentage of the costs that go into printing the book, they respond always, right? So the wait time on hybrid publishers goes down. I hope it is for the fun factor. I don't really know about the fun factor. I think publishing as a whole is such a process. It's like, uh, now I have to do this also, and now I have to do that also. Like, yeah, I think at some point the fun of it goes out. And oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The E and the blank books. I think, yes, definitely. It's the fun factor, right? Uh, N.K. Jemisin in her masterclass said something about world building and like ultimately selling books. She said that it's about the element X that your books offer, right? Every book has like an element X, even if it's a book that is not written well. This is the thing that attracts people into trusting your book to click on read more in the first place. So I think you are absolutely right on that front. The blank book and the ebook, I checked them out because I was thoroughly I was thoroughly pleased and impressed with the fact that somebody like did this, and it's right there, right? That niche of trolling publishing market, it's right there. But nobody picked it up other than, I'm guessing, teenagers. Nobody knows who these authors really are, but the way they talk and stuff like that online, it seems like they're teenagers. So it's the fun factor. Element X could be the fun factor of it all. uh, Directors like Taika Waititi is, I think, trending completely on the fun factor. He's telling such weird stories, weird in the sense of doing a mockumentary on vampires, doing a mockumentary on, and then the subsequent publishing deals as well. So, fun factor could be the element X if you are an imaginative person, right? Uh, I'm forgetting the name. The Call of Cthulhu's writer. Ah, what is his name? Oh, good gosh. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft has like this, there's a word now for his imagination, Lovecraftian, right? Where looking at seemingly normal thing and imagining a monster out of it. That is his element X. So if you figure out your element X, traditional self hybrid vanity, everything will work for you because your marketing is handled on its own, just based off of element X. And I've seen not a lot of things work, but they still work more than the conventional ways. So coming back to hybrid publishing, uh, the best parts of traditional and self-publishing come together in hybrid publishing. You get guided publication experience where you have editors, developers, graphic artists, all of this assigned to you, just like they would be in a hybrid publishing house. And you will be asked to buy 100, 50, 500, depends on what package you pick, to be honest. And depending on how good your book is, because hybrid publishers will check your book out before they agree to uh, take on your book, right? So of course there's like a quality check of sorts as well there, and so it is easier to get your book to market. And if you are able to sell 100, 200 books within a week, and you keep up that momentum and you gradually build up the book sales and things like that, yeah, if you're very strategic about your marketing plan, I think hybrid publishing works as well as traditional publishing. uh, Hybrid publishing, I've not seen succeeding much in like the TV show OTT syndication space, but I think that will change soon, right? Because Wattpad apparently is making lots of money from Netflix and stuff like that. So I think they will at some point look at hybrid publishing also and pick books from hybrid publishers. So yeah, I think hybrid publishing is in a way the way of the future. so to speak, right? Where you get the best of both worlds. And then finally, there's Vanity Publishing. Let me show you what that looks like. This is Barnes and Noble's ka Vanity Publishing ka screenshot. It's Barnes and Noble's Press, they call it. Okay. And do you see this? They have shown you how much royalties per book, how much retail and distribution, things like this. You get all of this information, and then you select the package. You select the color, you select the quality, you select everything about your book, and then you select your package, and you send them the money, and they start processing and printing your book. So the reason why we call it vanity is because there's no barrier to entry. I can get that wala book also printed with Barnes and Noble this way. So vanity publishing is when your only priority is, I want to publish a book. That's it. You have no other priorities other than, I just want a book out. And doesn't matter, quality doesn't matter, nothing matters, you just want the book out. And I've seen this option used a lot for corporate books, where people leverage like a book to get invited as corporate speakers and get invited to conduct seminars at corporates and things like that. So if your priority is something of that sort, don't waste time with any of the other options. Get your book vanity published and you are done. So I hope that these were clear to everyone, all of these options. I hope there's no doubt in anyone's mind about, oh yeah, Gurnur, I think a lot of people don't really know about vanity publishing because publishing houses are very sneaky. वो बताते नहीं है कि उनका vanity arm है. If you stick around and ask them for help and stuff on their website, तब बताएंगे कि हाँ हाँ कन्वेंशनल से नहीं करना है तो आप पैसा दे दो, हम आपका बुक बना देंगे. And I think from their front also it makes sense. इतने सालों से ना सीना चौड़ा करके they were there for decades, to be honest. They were the champions of the industry, and now they are having to publish books by asking people for money. Alu le lo, kanda le lo style. I understand why they are not open about it. But yes, these options exist all over the place. Every single one of them has a vanity publishing arm. Only thing is you have to ask the help person, and then they'll probably let you in on the secret. Pooja, yes. Pooja, you are going to have to, I guess you can congratulate Pooja. She is going to have something out soon, and she already has one book out. Check it out already. She has a question about vanity publishing, which is it only for ebook or even physical books? Vanity publishing is for ebooks as well as physical books, but I personally think it is more helpful for printing physical books, because like if you want like a very pretty coffee table book, right, done, vanity publisher is what I'd recommend, rather than going via like other printers in your area and things like that, because they also help with distribution. As far as ebooks go, the reason why I don't recommend vanity publishing is you can handle distribution and marketing of your ebooks on your own. So I say, instead of spending that money that you spend in vanity publishing your ebook, you can redirect that amount of money in marketing your book on different marketing channels, right? Like get Facebook ads, give money to BookBub, for example, because BookBub is going to recommend books directly to people's inboxes, and they have a sponsored section as well, right? So the money you are giving vanity publisher, give it to these people. Send your book to a famous bookstagrammer, because bookstagrammers also charge money to showcase your book covers and things like this. That will do more for you than a vanity publisher in terms of ebooks, I feel. Okay, so yeah, let me also talk about that a little bit, the bookstagram thing. Let me see the comments. Thank you so much. Learned many. Oh, I didn't know about vanity. Looks interesting. It definitely is interesting. Congratulations, Pooja. Yes, congratulations, Pooja. She's a super mom and a super awesome person. And like check her content out as well. Super wholesome. So very sweet, Vinati. Thank you so much for the shout out. Launching on Monday with the publisher I found through you. Yes, yes, yes. Yay! I did not know it was coming out on Monday. Super excited. We'll definitely try to review your book on a live if you are open to it, And let's talk about that on WhatsApp later on. But yes, congratulations, Pooja. Congratulations, Pooja. Coming to that thing that I was saying about Bookstagram or basically marketing your book. There are many marketing channels that are budget friendly, right? That are normal people budget friendly. Like, uh, like honestly, once your book has become popular on BookTube, BookTalk, and Bookstagram, people just buy your book to show people कि हाँ मेरे पास ये book है, right? Like I don't think I have any such book here, but okay, say take this book for example. This book that is over here looks very pretty. Now I don't recommend anyone read this book. It's like it's a Dan Brown book, which is not really good to be honest. This one, but the book cover is so nice. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so good in my bookcase. Let me highlight it. So this is what Bookstagram, which is Book Instagram, Book Talk, Book TikTok, BookTube, Book YouTube. I don't know what Book Twitter is called, but I've heard Book Twitter is very good for selling books as well. I have never tried it myself, but yeah, after like this recap thing blows over, I'm going to take Udit's advice and get started on Twitter too. But all of these things, these little things that seemingly don't matter, like how pretty your book looks, it really matters nowadays because if your book looks pretty, if it is color coordinated in a particular aesthetic, like see, this book is color coordinated in dark academia aesthetic. These are all dark academia aesthetics, right? And then this side, you have light academia happening. So these kind of things sadly or like I don't know prettily matter a lot these days. So if you even if you are setting your book per social media standards, right, it doesn't matter what kind of publishing you've done, your book will sell just merely on the basis of aesthetics alone. And there are so many of these options. I would suppose we should do a live on that separately. I think today is Friday, right? I'm not sure. Good gosh, I'm not sure what day it is. But we are supposed to do a live on Saturday on POVs and perspectives. Okay, guys? So I'm going to be wrapping this live up. If there are no questions, I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. If there are any questions, please ask those questions in the comments, or else we'll meet on Saturday at 3 p.m. To do live on POVs and perspectives, right? Where the right frame for your book, as Jatin Saini likes to call it, he calls it the Jatin lens, where Jatin will look at the world with Jatin's eye, Binati will look at the book with Binati's eye. Getting people to see Binati's eye. That is what we mean when we say POV, perspectives, and framing, right? So learning that is how you kind of figure out how you tell your story to readers, right? So stuff like one of my favorite recent books, Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, uses the framing and the POV of Achilles' lover as the place from which the story is told, right? So Achilles, the guy that like straight up beheads a god statue, and you're getting his story from his lover, someone who knows him as a person, right? That is such an interesting premise. And I read the book and I cried buckets and buckets and buckets. And like that is a story for another time. But POV and framing, point of view or perspectives and framing of your book determines how book nerds like me are going to stick to your book as a Jew ki tarah chipak jayenge, and then they won't just come off and they'll just have a blast reading your work, and then they will be excited to read your next work, right? So definitely we'll do one on Saturday 3 p.m. I'm not sure what day it is today. I don't know why. See, this is what happens when you become too emotional. You lose all sense of time and space. But Saturday 3 p.m. is when I plan to do the POV perspective live. So join me then. And oh, there are comments. Uh, Oh, yes, yes, Sampark. Anytime you're free, I know you're super busy. Anytime you're free, give me a call and I'll definitely pick up. Thank you so much, Rishit, for being so kind during these lives and for having like a learning thing. So, yeah. Thank you so much. I'm going to end the live for today. Once again, I wanted to do this live in 15 minutes, and in 4 minutes we've done. But yeah, thank you guys for the questions and everything. And I'll see you on Saturday, 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time. For now, do this, like, share, follow, all of that. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye. See you then.